Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of College and Career Pathways, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m., we provide you with information on various colleges and universities, skilled trade professions, training programs, technical schools, financial aid resources, employment opportunities, and college readiness skills, all designed to help and assist you in making the best career choices as you possibly can. I'm your host, Toni Curtin, and today we will be speaking with Ms. Rogers from Trio Educational Opportunities. Ms. Rogers, how are you today? And welcome.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Good deal, good deal. So you go ahead and you get started explaining exactly what does Trio Education do?
Okay. I am getting this pen. I thought that might be more helpful. Here we go. Okay, so as Ms. Toni said, I am from Trio Educational Opportunity Center. We call ourselves EOC for short. So if you hear us say Trio EOC, it's all the same program. We are located at Wayne State University. And I'll probably say this 1,000 times to you. We are not recruiters for Wayne State. We are housed there at Wayne State. That's where our office is located. But we can assist you in community college, university, trade school. It could be in-state or out-of-state. Here's my contact information. You can contact me by email, and you can use the direct line, which is 313-577-7769. That number, although we are working virtually from home, that number will come directly to me. So what is Trio? Trio is a part of I'll say Trio is a federally funded program, but we're part of a group of programs. So there is Upward Bound, which most people are familiar with. Usually they'll say Upward Bound, yeah, we know Upward Bound. So there's Upward Bound, there is Trio Educational Opportunity Center, there's the McNair Scholars, we have the Veterans Upward Bound, and we have a Gear Up program. Student support services, those are all under the Trio umbrella. And each program is designed to work with a specific group of people. Our program is designed to work with the adult population. So we provide services for the adult population, 19 years and older. It is a free program, and we do counseling as far as admissions, financial aid, financial literacy, career counseling, and we assist you in your post-secondary process. Now, I'll say post-secondary to you a lot. Post-secondary does not necessarily mean just college. Remember that. If you want to do trade school, we include that in post-secondary. Now, some of you may say, I am not 19 yet. If you are 16, 17, or 18 years old, we can assist you as long as you're in a high school program. So if you are in an alternative education program, if you're in a traditional high school program, if you're in a homeschool high school program, if you're in a private high school program, we can still assist you. So most people say, assist me with what? I didn't ask you to assist me. So we're assisting you with, we come in and we partner with your counselor. So your counselor, your career advisor, so now they have counselors, they have career advisors, they have student support staff, they have DCAN, MCAN, any of those advisors that are at your school to help you to further your education after high school. So the pre-college or the pre-post-secondary, which also remember trade school, is guidance during the graduation process. So that's what Ms. Toni is doing. She and the staff are helping you to navigate through so that you can graduate and transition successfully to post-secondary or to a trade school. How I come in is they have me to come and partner with them from Trio Educational Opportunity Center, EOC, and I assist also with the pre-college. So I help them in helping you to do your financial aid, to do your college applications, to get fee waivers if you need them. If someone says, I just don't know what I want to do, I'm not sure, it's all going so fast, everything going on, we can do career assessments to help guide you along. So I assist them in that process. And I think the major plus is with me assisting in that process is that we began to develop a rapport, because they could very well do it. We develop a rapport with you and your family so that when you transition over to trade school or college and you need that assistance after that, then I can assist you. So it won't be like, who is this stranger that's coming along now trying to find out my business and talk to me and learn all these things. So we're developing this partnership and I am helping them to help you. But then after you graduate comes the after the graduation process where I can help you. Remember, you can attend community college, university, or trade school. It can be in the state of Michigan or outside of the state of Michigan. So some of the services that are provided by EOC, we assist you with financial aid for the 2020-21, I said school year, but also for the 2021-22 school year. So we just assist you with financial aid. In doing the financial aid, you need to do a FSA ID, and these are all things we'll talk about more in depth later. Free application for federal student aid, which we refer to as FAFSA. We use a lot of acronyms, so FAFSA. Understanding the student aid report, they call the student aid report your SARS. So somebody will say, you got your SARS, go look on your email. It's a student aid report. Educate the participant on the FAFSA verification process, which is something that your school may ask you to verify. So if you're following along and working really closely with us, there's documentation we'll ask you to have. We'll tell you to put it in a little folder or binder. And when you place it there, when it comes time for FAFSA verification, you just pull it out and you show it to them, email it, fax it, take a picture of it, and scan it to them however they want it. But you'll have it there and it won't be the stress of, I don't have this information, I don't know where to find it. We work with students with the Mckinney-Vento Act. That will be our students that may qualify as homeless, at risk of being homeless, or self-supporting. And we work with the males on selective service so that they understand what their process really means. So when you're doing, they'll ask only the males the question, have you registered for selective service? And you have to register when you're 18 years old. And they'll say, I ain't going to the military, I'm not doing that. But what students don't understand is they just kind of want a census of how many 18-year-olds they have in the US, or once you turn 18, they add your name, your number, excuse me, they add you to the number. They're not doing, they haven't been doing the old school draft like they did years ago where they just start pulling people. So we try to make sure the males are comfortable with that. But one thing we do know is that if you don't complete the selective service process, they will hold up your financial aid. So if you get Pell Grant money and things like that, they won't give it to you. So just the education in that part. We also assist with college and trade school admissions. Career assessments if you need it. To complete the application, I can physically help you complete the application or direct you to the right person. Some trade schools, you don't do applications. You have to actually go physically talk to a person. And most of the time when it's trade school related, I'm going to refer you to Ms. Toni once we find out something, because I know she has had very good connections with a number of the different trade schools. We can provide fee waivers for college admissions applications. Other scholarships or grants, and additional requests or resources upon request. So the qualifications for being a Trio EOC participant. So you must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. If you are a permanent resident, I will ask you to have a copy of your residency card. And we just make sure we get a copy of the card, or you email me a copy of the card, but we just have to have that. A resident of Wayne County. So if you live, because our grant, the money we get from the federal government is to assist students, that actually live in Wayne County. So you can go to school outside of Wayne County, but if your address, your physical home address is in Wayne County, then we can assist you. 19 years or older, but remember our little asterisk, 16, 17, 18, you can, as long as you're in a high school program. We will ask you if you're first generation, but if you're not first generation, that does not mean you can't be a part of the program. First generation is just, they'll ask, did your mother graduate from a four-year college? Did your father graduate from a four-year college? We like to know that information because first generation students, a lot of times there are additional resources. And the last couple years, they've done a big thing with first generation. So that's a good thing to know. And then if students are low income, we like to know that because there may be additional resources we can provide. If you don't fit these categories, or just, that's fine. As long as you are a citizen or a permanent resident, you are a resident of Wayne County, and you are 19 years or older, or 16, 17, 18 in a high school program right now currently. Veterans are eligible to receive services, but many of you, and we have to put that here, but many of you are not veterans. Veterans will be someone that has served in the military and they're not serving in the military anymore. They've been honorably discharged. They're not in the, and we have a lot of students that we work with that may be veterans, that we will work with, or we'll refer them to our Veterans Upward Bound. So EOC, that's kind of the basics of our program. Are there any questions, Ms. Toni?
Going back to the comment that dealt with college application fee waivers, because of COVID now, isn't pretty much all of the schools waiving the application fee?
Pretty much.
And pretty much for this particular year, all you have to do truthfully is just indicate a hardship, and they will waive the fee. Is that correct?
Well, community colleges, most of the community colleges, especially in our area, they do not have application fees, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
It's the universities that will have application fees, and many of them are waiving their application fee. But if you happen to run across, say you're applying out of state or somewhere, and you happen to run across somewhere that is not waiving the application fee, just let us know and we'll just give you an application fee.
Okay, good deal. Sharonda, do you have any questions?
Okay, so what's next? When I meet with you one-on-one, and this is something we will do together, you will need to complete an online intake assessment with me. When I would travel out to the schools before, it was a paper application. So now we have it online. That's something that we'll do when we meet together. You just have to, once we schedule the appointment, we'll go through you completing that intake assessment. That's all you need to do to become a part of it's really easy. Almost like a job application. The intake assessment is you volunteering to be a part of the program. We can't force you, we can't make you. So you're volunteering and saying, hey, I want to be a part of this program. What do I need to do next? Oh, okay, I'll fill out that application. It also serves as an official document for the federal government, because remember, we receive money from the federal government to provide a free service to you. You and your families don't have to pay. So I can help you. You might say, well, I have a cousin who needs to get, they need to get into school too, or my mom's thinking about going back to school. We can assist you and your family or your friends, but we have to have this official document, which is the intake, to prove that we are doing what we said we're out here doing. And usually when I'm face to face with you all, I get a good laugh when I tell you, I can't go sit at Belle Isle all day and just put a bunch of names and random social security numbers down, or my cousins or my friends, and act like I work for the day. They need to know that you are who you say you are. So it's just the honesty policy. So we have to have that official document. And then here's my contact information again. So you can contact me by email at eg4994@wayne.edu, or you can call this number, 313-577-7769. That number will come right to my home. So remember, we work with pre-college, college, and then the adult learner. Okay, so we're going to talk briefly about paying for college. In paying for college, there's a link on here. Ms. Toni will have the PowerPoint. I'm going to send it to her, as well as this presentation. When you look at it, you can click the link. The YouTube link, it's a YouTube link and it's from the federal government, just kind of explaining what financial aid is. Just wanted to have that in there in case someone needed a visual to kind of understand or play. It's about 3 minutes, I believe, not long at all. So when I sit down with you and we do the, and we don't have to do it in this order, we need to do the intake first. Once the intake is complete and I verify you have all your documents, then you may come to me and say, well, hey, I want to do a college application today. I don't want to do financial aid, or I want to do the financial aid first and then the college application. But 99% of the time, students want to do the financial aid application first, because there's no sense, they say, and this is what students will tell me, it's no sense in me trying to figure out where I'm going to go and I don't know if I have any money, which makes sense. So they'll want to do the free application for federal student aid. This is what we call the FAFSA. They just took the first letters, free application for federal student aid. So you'll hear us saying FAFSA. This is their website. You can also click that link and it will take you to their website. The free application for federal student aid, it's an online application that for prospective college students and trade school. Now, not all trade schools are paid for through the Pell Grant, but some are, many are. What it does is we have you do this because it'll open you up to federal government monies, local state scholarships, and grants and institutional scholarships. So here, the Pell Grant is what we look for initially. We want to know if you qualify for a Pell Grant. If you fill out all of the application, we hit submit. As soon as we hit submit, you get a response back immediately. If you qualify for a Pell Grant, then they'll give you monies towards going to some trade schools, but the majority community college and universities. So just say, because I'm not sure what the number, we'll go with a round number, $6,000. So if they give you $6,000, that's not $6,000 per semester. I mean, per year. That's not $6,000 per semester. That's $6,000 an academic year. So if you start school in August and you end school in May, they'll divide that in half. You'll get $3,000 from August to December, and then we have our holiday winter break, and then January through May, the other $3,000. That will make up those 2 semesters. Now remember, we're just going with a rough number. I'm not saying it's $6,000. I'm just giving you an estimate. Any money you get from FAFSA will include Pell Grant, and then it will include loan, a subsidized and or an unsubsidized loan. The loans, remember, anything with loan, you're going to pay back. You're going to eventually pay it back. Grant money, scholarships, you usually don't have to pay that back. Okay? So we just have to watch terminology, and those are things we like to make sure you understand. So that's what you'll look for, and you'll know immediately what you qualify for in that Pell Grant and loan. That's immediately what we look for. And I usually tell you right away, okay, look right here, this is what you qualify in the Pell Grant, and this is what you qualify in loans. Let's try not to look at the loans right now. Let's let them sit there. Let's focus on the Pell Grant and try to build other scholarships and grants along the way so you don't have to take out loans. Some students have to, some students don't. But we try to work with you so you don't have to take out loans, can go to a school, whether it's trade school or community college, as debt-free as possible. The other thing that's going to happen when you do this FAFSA application is college work study. You will not know, I will not know about college work study immediately like we will with this. Your school will determine how much money they have set aside in their budget for college work study. Say you went to Macomb Community College. Ms. Toni works in the scholarship office there. You apply for a job there and you work for her. If you qualify for college work study, that's how you will be paid. It will be a certain amount of money set aside for Ms. Toni, so she doesn't have to bother her budget, her normal budget. That money will be set aside, and then you will get paid every week, every 2 weeks, however she does her payment for her employees. Once you run that money out for the semester, you just have to stop working until the next semester. So if they gave you $1,000, then you will work 500 off one semester, 500 the next semester. So remember, this and this will come out of you filling out the FAFSA application. The additional things that come along would be, and just one example I gave is the Michigan Competitive Scholarship. That is a state-related scholarship. So there are state-related scholarships that will come out of you filling out the FAFSA. You can't, some of these you can't apply for. You can't apply for some of the state-related scholarships. They will look at your FAFSA. They'll see if you qualify for it. And then next thing you know, you'll say, oh, I got some extra money. I didn't know where this money came from. And it's because you completed that FAFSA. There's also scholarships directly from the school. So there may be, the one I always use an example for is at Michigan State. So I had a student who was trying to decide Michigan State, another school. He had a few schools in mind, and he received Pell Grant. They did offer him loans. He received college work study, and then he got a letter from Michigan State that said, you have a full scholarship to Michigan State. He called me back in a panic, like, we didn't apply for this, did we? And I said, no, we didn't apply for that. He said, they're saying I have something, Spartan Advantage something. And I said, okay. He was so worked up, he couldn't get it all out. I said, make an appointment and come in and bring the paperwork. So when he came in, he did, based on doing the FAFSA, and they looked at it, he qualified a need base for Spartan Advantage. All that the Pell Grant didn't take care of, the Spartan Advantage covered the rest of it. So he went to school for 4 years, graduated from Michigan State, and didn't have to pay anything.
Good deal.
So not just Michigan State, many other schools have scholarships that you don't apply for. They look at the FAFSA results, and you may get those scholarships, whether it's a full scholarship or a partial, and they all have different names. Okay, so that's why a lot of students will say, I don't want to fill it out, or I don't think I qualify, or some students say, well, I think my parents might make too much money, or all of that might be true, but still fill it out because it opens the door for you to get other things along the way. And financial aid can get real in depth, so we're just giving you a little bit, and we'll have to meet and talk about a lot of the other things. One thing I forgot was your college work study money is spending money for your pocket. So you work, you get paid, say every 2 weeks, and that money goes in your pocket. A lot of students will say, well, does it go back to the school? Will they apply it to my bill at the school? Do I have to get the money and pay the school back? No, that's just like your working money. So you get paid for that. And experience, you get experience on campus. So this is important, really important. Documents needed to complete your FAFSA. You are going to need these documents to complete your financial aid. You're going to need these documents before you meet with me. So your Social Security number. I don't have to necessarily have your card or see your card. I tell students it's important that you have your card handy because I've had many students to transpose numbers. It should have been a 1-5 at the end and they put a 5-1. And that becomes a big headache because we end up having to just scrap that application and start all over again. If we try to prove that you transpose the numbers and that's really you, then we have to go through Social Security Administration, we have to verify your identity, and we have to go through a lot. So financial aid usually just tell us to just ignore that application and just start all over fresh. So make sure you are clear on your Social Security number. Your driver's license. If you do not have a driver's license and you only have a state ID, don't worry about it. You don't have to have your state ID number to go on your FAFSA. Okay, you don't have to have your state ID number to go on your FAFSA. When they ask for driver's license, that's what they want, just your driver's license number. Your alien registration card or your permanent resident card, we need that. And your income that was earned in 2019. So when you bring your income that was earned in 2019, you can just jot down the full name of the place you earned the income from. So you worked at Burlington Coal Factory in 2019, and then provide for me some documentation that you worked at Burlington Coal Factory in 2019. It could be an old copy of a W-2. If you did file your own taxes, it could be the federal tax page, the 1040. If you didn't work at all and you received Social Security or disability in your own name and it comes to you, if it goes to a parent with your name on it, you don't have to worry about that part. We'll get to that part with the parent. But sometimes students say, well, I get Social Security or I get disability. And so just bring me the end of the year statement, which you should get every year, and it'll just show you how much you earned for the year. So that's what we need for you in order to complete the intake and fill out the financial aid. And then these are some of the same documents I'm going to tell you to make sure you have in your folder. I'll tell you how to put these things together so that if they call you for financial aid verification, you'll have them already available and it won't be a stress in trying to find them. If you worked, didn't work at all, just let me know that when we meet. Nope, I didn't work at all in 2019. Okay, that's okay. Then I don't have any documents to take to her, so I can't meet with her. Nope, just have the rest of the documents that you need if you need any of these. And if you didn't work in 2019, it's okay. Just let me know that. As far as with your parents, anyone between, and this is where it gets kind of tricky for the student, because then they want to fuss with me that I'm grown, I'm 18. But anybody 18 to 23 and a half, the federal government considers you to be dependent, which means you are still relying on your parents for income. I didn't say it, they said it. So if you are between the ages of 18 and 24, I have a list of questions that I would ask you. And if you can verify, if you can say yes to just one of those questions, then you will qualify as independent and you don't have to use anything from your parents. But if you can't say yes to just one question, then we're going to need this parent information. Okay? And that's on the financial aid. So they're going to ask, you'll say, well, I'm 19. Okay, so I'll say, are you married? No. Do you have a child? No. If it's a young lady, I'll say, are you currently pregnant? And the baby will be due within this academic year. No. Have you ever had a legal guardian? And most students say yes, and that's not the correct answer. You don't count your parents as your legal guardian. Your legal guardian will be myself. If I was your aunt and I had guardianship over you, or if you went to live with your grandmother and your grandmother went to court and they gave her legal guardianship. So if you've had a legal guardian, it's someone other than your biological parents. So I usually have to make sure that's clear. And if you say, well, no, I've just my parents. Have you ever been in foster care? No, haven't been in foster care. Have you ever been ward of the court? Got in a little trouble, had to go to stay somewhere else, maybe Don Bosco or somewhere for a while. And we need to talk about that, not to be nosy, but to find out the correct information to put you in the best place to succeed. That's what we want to do. So don't ever think that I am asking you information or bringing up painful things, which could be painful to some students, just because. It's so that we can steer you in the right direction so that you can be successful. So you say, no, that hasn't happened. Possibly adoption, and I say possibly because they have a certain age with adoption. So we would just say adoption and the student will say, oh yeah, I was adopted, but they may have been adopted when they were 5 or 6. That won't work. Adoption usually is like 13, 14, you were adopted, and then you'll have additional funding. So I'll go through and I'll ask all those questions. And then the very last question I will ask you, are you homeless, at risk of being homeless, or self-supporting? And that's usually taken out of context. It doesn't mean that you're homeless, like you're living under the bridge or you have to go from shelter to shelter. And many students will get offended. I'm not homeless, I got somewhere to stay. Okay, tell me about your living conditions. Calm down. Remember, I'm not being nosy. I want to put you in the right position. So students will say, well, I usually stay with my girl, and then when things get tight at her house and her mom will be tripping, then I go over to my cousin's house and stay. Then I'll be at my grandma's house. And, so you're just kind of moving around, but you have a stable place to lay your head. You're warm, you have food and all that. They call that couch surfing. So you're not with your legal parents and you're kind of moving from place to place. We can classify you as homeless, at risk of being homeless or self-supporting. Some students say, I've been out of the house since I was 17. And I've had a steady job and they're making a large amount of money. I'm making $30,000, $40,000. I got, I'm working at this place and I just come to school because had to come back. My job told me to come back, but I've been out of the house since I'm 17 and I'm 20 now, or I'm 19 now. Okay, so then we can qualify you as homeless, at risk of being homeless, and self-supporting. They put that all on one line. They don't separate it. So we go through and ask those questions because they're going to be asked on the financial aid, just to find out what position you're in and how we need to. So if you tell me no to every question I just asked, then I'm going to say, I know you're 22, but they're considering you to be dependent because you're not 23 and a half yet, because you don't meet any of those qualifications. So you're going to need your parents' social security number. You're going to need your parents' date of birth. I say date of birth specifically because students will know their parents' birthday, but not the year. So I need the date of birth. I need the month, the day, and the year. You have to put that on the financial aid. I'll ask you if your parents have ever been married. And if you say yes, they're married, then I need to know the month and the year that they got married. So now I say, well, what's the anniversary day? When do they get all happy and be celebrating and stuff? You'd be like, I don't know. So they don't do all that. Okay, so we need to know the month and the year, just the month and year. Some people say, why they ask that? Because a lot of people they'll fabricate, they won't tell the truth. So they just want some estimates. If your parents were once married and divorced, they will ask for the month and the year. And the one that I failed to put on here is if your parent is a widow. So if mom is alive and dad passed, or vice versa, they'll ask, what is the month and the year that the parent passed? Okay, so we add that on there just to verify. They just want to make sure that people are telling the truth. And then parent income, the same thing. Full name of the place your parent earned their income in 2019. And then documentation to prove that. Well, my parent didn't work and he or she received Social Security. Okay, just bring me the end of the year Social Security statement. And when it says name of the place where your parent earned income, it will be not from working, but from Social Security or disability, or it may be retirement. You can bring a W-2, the federal tax 1040. And I keep saying federal because when your parents file or you file income taxes, there's a federal, the state, and the city. We just need to look at the federal page, that's all. Okay, so that can be kind of confusing sometimes. You can always email me or give me a call and say, you talked about this document and I'm not quite sure. Can you give me more information? Even before we meet, okay? This should help out though a little bit. So, just in case some students have not seen these documents and don't know what they look like, this would resemble your Social Security card. This would resemble your driver's license, and it'll say operator's license on it, opposed to just the state ID. This will be the United States, the permanent resident card. This is what a W-2 would look like, and it usually will have your information on there. It'll have the employer, and then the employer, and then it'll have like how much you made, how many taxes were taken out, and this is just mock forms I pulled up. This here is what the 1040 of the tax form looks like, similar to this, and it usually will have how your parents file, their filing status. It'll be checked off up here. And then it'll have their information, and then it'll have your information, and if you have sisters and brothers, their information, and then the income earned in here. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so these are copies of, and then this is a 2002, but it kind of still look the same. I think they're like red and or reddish or pinkish and white, but these forms are like the Social Security disability forms, what they would look like. So you'll have some kind of idea when you start looking for the form, what the form looks like. Okay, any questions so far?
What if a parent doesn't want to give up their financial aid, their financial information? Then what is a student supposed to do?
So in many cases, I have had parents not want to give up their information for students to place on their financial aid. And what I do is I've asked to talk to the parents myself. And once I've talked to the parents, most of the time the parents, I haven't had any parents after I talk to them not give it up. A lot of the times the parents don't want to give up their information because they don't know what the students really need it for. They don't quite understand the process. So I try to explain and walk the parent through the process. This is what it's for. Another reason they don't want to give up their information is because they know about the process. They've been there, done that, and they're like, I don't want them to have all these loans I got. We're not doing loans. Nope. I'd rather for them to go get a job than do that. And I have to explain to them the process of the scholarships and the grants and the opportunities students have where they don't have to necessarily take out loans. Because they're totally against the loans. They fuss about not really knowing the process, not wanting their students to take out loans, and drawing a blank. It's another reason I've had parents tell me the students aren't serious. They'll say that they've been goofing off and they ain't. Oh, so now you want to go to college. Oh, so now you want, and I've had parents right in front of me say, oh, now you want to go to trade school. You ain't been wanting to do nothing. So I'm not giving you my information for nothing. I'm not even doing this. Stop wasting this lady's time and you're just going to get a job. I've had parents just point blank say that. And I'm like, okay, well, there's been a change of heart. And they've been working with, if I'm at your school, I said, they've been working with Miss Toni and I've been working with them and they've met some, and this is what they want to do. And they're like, yeah, I do. I want to do this. And so I kind of have to navigate in the middle of an argument with the students. Say, I want to do somewhere. They don't believe what I want to do. And it's back and forth. But it's been successful. We've come to an agreement where, okay, this is what you really want to do. Okay, now you got to do better with showing your parents you're serious about this, because I'm trying to get them to fill out this application. And then in that case, many times in those 3 instances, the parents will be right there when we fill it out. Oh, the last one is identity theft. Many parents have suffered identity theft. And so they're real leery about their information. So I'll have them right there when we're doing it. And before they could sit right there with us, but right there so they can see, okay, now you let them put in their own information or let the parent do this so the parent would know what's going on. Yeah, so usually those are the reasons, and once we talk through them, they're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You not had a situation where parent was just flat out no, and kid had no recourse.
I had one situation where a parent was flat out no, but the student wasn't really serious in the first place, because when the parent was like, no, you're going to get a job because I ain't nobody playing with you, is what the mom said.
Okay.
And I said, are you sure? What do you want to do? And he was like, I'm good. He didn't want to do it anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
But most of the time when the students want to do it and there's a turnaround, we usually talk with the parents and try to work with them and get them to see the benefit in this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Yeah. Do you have to create a FAFSA ID? I did mention about FAFSA IDs. Yes, you have to have a FAFSA ID and your parents have to have a FAFSA ID. The FAFSA ID is simply your login. It's your username and your password to log into your financial aid. If you call the 1-800 number because you have questions about something in the processing of your financial aid, they're going to ask you for do you have a username? They won't ask you your password, but they'll ask you for your username. I said, what's your FAFSA ID? Your electronic signature in order to sign all your documents. And this was even before the pandemic. they had switched over to electronic signatures. So no more signing the paperwork and having to mail it in. You just put in your username at the end and your password and click send, and it's submitted.
Cool.
Your FAFSA ID can also be used to access student aid applications. Like if you do have to take out a loan, your program costs a little bit more and you're really serious about it, you may need to take out a little loan money. You may have to go through loan counseling with the federal government, and you can access student aid and go in and do that with your username and your password. So some students go ahead and do it. Sometimes students will wait and do it with me. If you wait and do it with me, I will help you to create everything. But after that moment, I don't know it and I won't remember it. And a lot of students will call back and say, remember you were there. Remember we did that. No, we got to reset it or start it because it's confidential and it's for you to keep. I'm just helping you in this moment.
Okay.
So it's important that you have that. You need a working email, because if you say it, you forget your username and you try to log in, they'll say if you forgot your username, you can use your email. And then your password. If you forget your password, we just have to reset it. But we have to have an email. Now with parents need one too. And a lot of times I tell students, kind of prep your parents and ask them, do you have a financial aid ID? If parents say I have a PIN number, then we had PIN numbers some years ago. If they have a PIN number, we can go in and we can get them a FAFSA ID, because we used to use just PIN numbers. If they've never had one, then we will go in and create one for them. If you have a older sister or brother who's already been through this process and they have gone to a trade school or a community college university, and your parents had to sign their financial aid with the username and password, it's the exact same one they had then, because they don't give you different FSA IDs for different children. So if I'm in school taking college classes and I have a FSA ID because I did financial aid, and then if my child graduates high school and goes to college, wants to go to college, and we have to do the financial aid, they will apply for their FSA ID, but I'm going to use my same one that I use even for my school. So whatever you have one, and it'll work for yourself. And say if I'm the parent, work for me and my children. So we ask you to just make sure you keep up with it. And if you can't remember it, we can always have it reset. You don't have your password reset, so you can get back in there. Okay, so, and it's quite an easy process. This is probably the easiest of the financial aid. Here are the steps. Remember, Ms. Toni's going to have this presentation as well as a recording. So this just says, how do I complete a FAFSA ID? Now you can click these links. If you want to create one, click the link and you'll go right in and it'll take you through the steps of creating one. If you have one, say your mom said, I had one some years ago, and I don't even remember my username, and that email is old now. I can't even get in there. Say forgot username. We'll try to get it reset. If you know everything but forgot the password, you can click this link. We can get the password reset. Your password must be 8 to 30 characters long. It must have at least one uppercase, one lowercase, and one number in it. It cannot have your name, your social security number, or your birth date in it. None of those combinations. So you can't use your first name in 2018, or you can't use October but then put the last 6 of your social. So they don't want that, because they want to make it as secure as possible. And by doing this, you're adding identifiers, things that identify to you. So make sure it's something different. An uppercase, a lowercase, and a number, at least 8 characters. So this would not be a good one to use, but just say someone wanted to use this. It could look just like this password: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. So password, just the P is capital, and then you'd have to add a number onto that. Okay. So remember, it's case sensitive, uppercase, lowercase number, and please don't add any identifiers, any of your identifiers in it, last name, first name, any of that. These are forms that we will work on later. That's not anything we have to do now. But if you say, if your parents say, I can't find any documentation for 2019 and I didn't file taxes, if you can't find any documentation, if they say, well, I didn't work really, the student may say, I really didn't work in 2019. I did, but I was babysitting. I ran a couple errands, cut grass, and I got paid cash. And I earned like $500 for the year. Well, we don't have anything to prove that. So these are income statements that you could go on the link and put in there. I received $500 for 2019. You will do an electronic signature and a date, and then I will go in there behind you after you submit it, and I would notarize the electronically to just say, this is what you have verified, because we don't have any copies of anything. We could do the same for parents. If your parents say, and this could serve as your official document, if your parents say, I did work in 2019, we moved, all that stuff was lost. I don't have any paperwork for me working in 2019, but I know I made about $25,000 that year. Then we'll have your parent to fill out that form. And then I will go in and verify that that's what they told me. And then I would show you or teach you how to get those documents you need in case they call you for financial aid verification. But just wanted to have them on here, but there's nothing you have to really worry about now. And then again, here is my contact information and just some important facts to remember. Due to COVID-19, all meetings will be held via Zoom or phone until further notice. I'd like for you to email, and this is not, we'll change that. This was for another school, but you will set up an appointment with me once you have all of your documentation, okay? You can call me at the office number or email and say, and if it's easier to email, just email me. Hey, Ms. Rogers, I'm from my virtual academy. I have all of my documentation together and I'm ready to set up a meeting to do the financial aid. And then I will set up a meeting time with you. Meeting times, we're also going to change this because we don't have to have a specific time, right, Ms. Toni?
Right.
Okay, so we don't have to have a specific time. So I'll make sure that's changed before she gets the PowerPoint. And it's just important that you have all of your documents when you meet with me. It makes it so much easier that you have all of your documents. And I'm making a note to myself because I'm also going to add in here. So I need to make changes, but we also need to it's important that you have a working device. You need to have computer or a tablet if you're comfortable with navigating your phone, because if I set up a Zoom and we meet via Zoom and you have Zoom pulled up, then it's going to be important for you to have another working device with internet services so that we can complete the application. Okay, so that'll be important. And if you don't have that and you have all your documents and you want to meet, just email me and let me know that, and we'll see how we can get that done for you. Because I don't want you to say, well, I don't have another computer at home, or I just have my school computer and now I'm just doing schoolwork on that. I don't have anything else. If you have all your documents, just email me and we'll figure out how it can be done. Okay, any questions?
So, with regards to the application, how long does it take to actually go through and fill out completely?
The FAFSA application?
Right.
Honestly, it will take about 15, 20, maybe 20 minutes to fill out the application. No, these are the conditions though. You have to have all those documents.
Okay.
And so if you have all those documents, it's easy to go right to the document and put the information in, opposed to stopping. I got to call my mom at work, or I got to go ask, that's the holdup when students don't have their information, and we got to keep doing all the back and forth and setting up 2 or 3 meetings. If you have, that's why I'm asking to have those documentations, the documents to when you meet with me, because if you have that, it doesn't take long. And if the internet service is working and we don't have any technical difficulties, you can whisk right through it, because it's almost like a job application. You're filling out all of your demographic information. They ask you a few questions about school, and most of them is click here, click here, click here, and we're just moving along. And then because I have completed it before and I know how to do it, so usually I'm telling students, they'll start like trying to read through. Remember, we talked about the dependency questions. Do you fit any of these? No. Just go all the way to the bottom and say no. You don't have to sit and try to read and understand each one. So that's the benefit of having someone right there that knows how to do it, because I can navigate you right through it. You send it and you're going to get a confirmation page immediately. So about 15-20 minutes with no technical difficulties, and all of the documents are there.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
It seems to be a lot more intimidating than what it actually is.
It does.
And it does really seem like so much more is involved in this than really what's actually taking place. If you answer a question incorrectly, how does that affect your ability to be awarded at all? And to what degree would your award be affected?
If you answer a question incorrectly, the only question that I do not want to answer incorrectly is that Social Security number.
Okay.
Let's not put that Social Security number or birth date in wrong.
Okay. Okay.
So they ask for name, first and last name. You have to do your Social Security number, your birth date. Anything else we can change.
Okay.
Anything else we can go in and do a correction. Those are your identifiers, and they're going to take those identifiers and match them with, they'll tell you once they send you your award, they'll say, well, you are estimated to receive this much. You get that immediately. But then they'll tell you also it takes 1 to 3 days to process. That 1 to 3 days is because they're going to take those identifiers that you just put in there, name, Social Security number, birthday, and send it to Social Security Administration. So Social Security Administration is going to say, oh yes, this matches this person, it's correct. And then you're good. Okay. Anything else on there, we can change. So if you put on there that there was 2 people in your home and your parents made $10,000 that year, when in actuality, your parents made $30,000 that year and there was 4 people in the home, we just go in and make the correction.
Okay. Because
the important thing is to have, when we make the correction, I'll tell you to put those documents in your folder. We just want documentation to back it up. That's all. If there's that we need to go change income, number of people in the home, with your parents filing taxes. If you say, no, they didn't file. Yes, they did file, but your parents come back and say, no, I didn't file that year. We just go in and make the correction. If you put a school on there and you don't want it on there anymore, or you want to add a school, we go in and make that correction.
Okay.
Yes, so we can go in and make FAFSA corrections up until you get ready to go or attend your program. It's just those identifiers we don't want to mess up on.
Okay.
Yeah. Driver's license number, the permanent resident card, we want to have that stuff exact.
Okay.
But yeah, you can make corrections on it.
Good deal. Sharonda, you got questions?
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
I'm like, it's hard for me to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'm trying. Okay, so I had to step away for a minute. I had to take a call. But I'm trying to figure out, did I miss the part on the scholarships, or was that the part where you're talking about Upward Bound and the other programs through the different platforms, like the you know, you said the regular colleges, community colleges, and trade schools, and or is it with the when they're filling out the FAFSA?
Well, I just spoke about, can you see that page?
Yes, ma'am.
I just spoke about these in general when it comes to the Pell Grant and the loans that you'll get from FAFSA. They'll offer you college work study. And then I refer to, you know, the Michigan Competitive Scholarship as as an example of a scholarship through the state, and then scholarships that directly come from the school, from your
What is
college.
the Michigan Competitive Scholarship? Did you talk about it on here? Because if you did, I don't want to hold
No,
Miss
I didn't
Toni
talk
up.
about it in depth because it's a lot. So I would do that.
Okay.
So their requirements, if you go to this, but I'll tell you, if you go to the state of Michigan, um, mi.gov, I believe it is, they have the list of everything that I usually go over with the students. And it's usually TIP, Tuition Incentive Program, the TIP. So if you're familiar with TIP, it's on that same page. They'll have Michigan Competitive Scholarship. They'll have like a firefighter or something for the students, firefighters. They'll have one for students with disabilities. So they have different state grants that come from the state of Michigan. And there's several of them on there. That's just one that I know some of the high school students talk about, but it's right on that michigan.gov page. And so that's what I'll go over with them. Because I also make sure the students are registered for TIP too. I have them go online since we can do the online now. I'll say make sure you go online and you complete your username and password so you can get online with that. So that's the most, and we didn't go any further than that.
Okay. I appreciate it.
I didn't want to overwhelm them.
Oh,
But
it's
overall,
okay. We appreciate it.
The objective is to get them to fill out the FAFSA, which will then qualify them or it will then position them to be looked at if they qualify for any of the other state scholarships or fundings that's available.
I'm reaching down. Let me reach. I want to reach down and get my folder. So they have now some you will have to apply for. That's why I wanted to reach down and get my folder, Ms. Toni. Some you will have to apply for. It's michigan.gov/SSG. Some of them they will have to apply for, like the Michigan Competitive is usually one you don't have to apply for, but they have So the Michigan Competitive Scholarship provides tuition assistance to students who score at least 1,200 on the SAT. And then the details of that is a FAFSA must be completed, must demonstrate financial need, and then they must be in the MISSG student portal, which is why I have them go log in and make sure they have that done.
Right.
There's also the Michigan Tuition Grant, and that provides assistance to students attending a Michigan private or independent nonprofit college or university. And they must complete the FAFSA, demonstrate a financial need, and then also be in the MISSG student portal. All of these are typically by March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
They have a police officer and firefighter survivor tuition grant. They have a Talent for Tomorrow scholarship that provides scholarships to assist low-income students with the cost of obtaining a qualifying degree or credentials in a high-demand field. And then kind of the same requirements. Then there's the TIP, Tuition Incentive Program. There's a Foster's Future Scholarship for foster care students. So usually when students say, I'll ask, and if they say that they've been in foster care, I make sure they go in and log into the MI Student Aid to see if they qualify for TIP, because more than likely they do. And then there is an application for that one, though. That is a program application, even though it's through the state. And I have them assist them with getting that application done, along with their social worker, because that's an application that they need to have done. And typically it's around the end of June. They need to have it in, do the FAFSA, and they also have to complete an application for that one, because that provides like stipends for living and food and things like that. And then there's Children of Veterans Tuition Grant. So many of these they don't apply for, but for foster care, it's an application I have them to apply for, along with myself and the social worker that's been working with them to get them to fill that out for additional. They might have car stipends, they may have housing. Yeah, so that will be that example. And I just wanted to pull it out so I make sure.
It's a lot of money out there,
Mm-hmm.
and it all begins with the FSA.
Yep, it begins with that. Come get that done. And just say, some students, it's like, well, I didn't qualify for a Pell Grant, but they may have had that score on the SAT.
Sure.
Yeah, and so they got the Michigan competitive, or, you know, they may have been awarded something else because of grades or test scores.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Any more, Sharonda?
I think that's it. And the FAFSA just opened up on the 1st.
It opened up on the 1st, and we shut it down on the 1st. I got 2 students done, and no, I got 3 students complete. One went all the way through. The other 2 completed all the way till the end. And when it got to the end, they kept getting an error message where they couldn't send it and it wouldn't submit it. And I said, they were panicking. Don't panic. Go back, log out of everything, clear the computer. Let's log back in. And it took them right back to the very end where they were, because I just wanted to show them that it saved everything. It will save it. It's going to save right from where you left off, so you're good. So actually, I need to contact them to see if they went back in. But for the first couple of days, I figured that would happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because more people were at home, opposed to in
Absolutely.
schools, you have like groups of students doing it, but more
Absolutely.
people were home, so we shut it down.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotta get them taxes done. They
Now
don't. You can't fill it out. Like, you can only do so much until you get your taxes and everything done, and then once that's done, then you can complete it.
Now, you know, they're asking for, they call it prior income, 2 years behind.
Because
So
of COVID.
No, they started this before COVID.
Did they?
Yes. So they work off what they call prior. So you do not have to have the current income, which was wonderful because it cut down on a lot of stress of trying to get students to get this done and pressure their parents to do taxes and all of that. It was just a headache. So now this year we are asking for 2019 income.
Okay, good deal.
The application that just closed for last academic year, we were putting in 2018 income. So I was telling students, okay, now this time, October 1st, when it opens up, now we're moving to 2019 income. Next year, you know, they'll be asking for the income the year prior. So that helps out a lot.
It does.
Because you should have had it done, even if parents amended it or had different things the year before. Even if they didn't have their taxes done the year before, at least you know what you made. You have some idea where you worked in your income. That helps out a lot.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Rogers. I thank you and appreciate your time. And I will see you on the 26th.
Yes, we changed it to 26th at 2.
2 o'clock.
Will the parents be there for that one?
We are going to have them there for that. Hopefully they'll participate, but
okay,
we're putting a call out for them.
Okay, and so hopefully the students will look at I'm going to, I'll send you the PowerPoint later on today because I'm gonna make those few changes and I'll email it to you. So hopefully they will listen to the recording.
Yeah.
They will look at the presentation.
Yeah.
And then if there's not a lot of questions, I can at least help them through their Fafsa Id.
Good deal.
Okay. All
Sounds
right.
good.
You all have a good week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.